Let's start.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Good evening.
Good evening,
Good
Fiona.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster Raymond. I am Toastmaster Fiona, the Sergeant at Arms. Welcome you, fellow Toastmasters and guests, to our 30th meeting of the Vasco Toastmasters Club. At Toastmasters, we do a number of things. We are a group of people from all walks of life. It's important that everyone feels included and everyone feels at home. So whenever we speak, we ensure that we do not hurt the sentiments of others. And so we refrain from speaking about sex, politics, and religion. With respect to everyone's effort, we respect everyone's efforts. So what we do is, we just put our hands up and bring them together to make some noise. Can we do that, please? Yes, and you need to do it louder whenever somebody speaks. Thank you. Let us begin with the mission of Toastmasters. The mission of Toastmasters Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. I would like to now introduce the presiding officer, is Toastmaster Abrar. I just discovered that if you put him in a group of 1,000 people, he can challenge himself to make friends with at least 100 people who will be added to his contact list. So those who have not yet made friends with Abrar, I ask you to please share your phone number on the chat. Over to you.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms. Can we hear a big round of applause to Sienna? Distinguished Toastmasters, area directors, Toastmasters, and my dear guests, a very good evening. It's so good to see you all. Toastmasters International is a non-profit organization which teaches public speaking, communication, and builds the leadership skills. I want you to take a good look at the diversity in this group. We have people from different age groups, people from even overseas who have joined us today. And this is the power of Toastmasters. We are present all over the globe, more than 16,500 clubs across the globe. So we are connected with a network of clubs. Goa is a part of this network of clubs. Goa Toastmasters have 10 clubs under it, and there are 2 clubs which are under pipeline. Vasco Toastmasters Club was started a year ago, and we are a young, vibrant club. We do invite people to come and join us, experience Toastmasters, to learn from them. Goa currently is a part of Region 13, District 98, and Division W, and Area W3. I appreciate everyone's welcome, and I would like to welcome you all to the 30th meeting of Vasco Toastmasters Club. We do have a new member today. Sonia, would you like to talk about yourself, maybe in a line or two, tell everyone about you? Sonia, are you there?
Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Sonia and I'm from Vasco. I stay at Mangal and I've been working as a teacher. So almost like 5 years. And currently I'm pursuing my master's. And I just got to know about Toastmasters from one of my senior like education counselor. So I just happened to ask him, like, is there any group which gives training and, developing your communication skills, helping you to be like, if you want to be master of ceremony and all. So I just happened to message him, and that's how I came to know about Toastmasters. So it's been really nice to join, and I hope to grow here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sonia, for joining us. Sonia will be a Toastmaster from 1st of October, hopefully. I mean, that's already done. Anyways, moving ahead, I think we have guest Toastmasters with whom we'll connect after the session, after the evaluation session. Moving forward, every club meeting has a theme for people who are joining in for the first time. And today's theme is the compounding effect. In order to go ahead from here, I would now like to invite the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Akansha Parihar. Akansha is a finance and accounting professional. Finance, arts, and books. This is something that defines Akansha. This is the first time that she's doing a role as a Toastmaster of the day. So she happened to choose a topic which is quite close to her and ingrained as one of the guiding principle in her life. Akansha Parihar, Toastmaster Akansha Parihar, the stage is all yours. Over to you.
Thank you, President. Zoom Master, am I audible? And is my video visible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay. Before I go ahead, I would like to mention that the agenda was shared in advance. I have shared it in the chat box too. However, there is a change in the agenda. The role of the R counter will not be executed by Varun Tomar, but by Toastmaster Vishal Sharma. I will request a proposer and a seconder to pass this motion in order to adopt the agenda of the meeting.
I propose.
Toastmaster Akansha, I second.
What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear the compounding effect or the power of compounding? Is it compound interest or something related to finance? Please raise your hand if that's the case. Because in most cases, it is true. Although I am a finance professional, but today I am not here to teach you how to manage your finances, but to discuss a philosophy that is literally a mantra to achieving all your goals, which is compounding. So what exactly is compounding? In simple terms, compounding means each and every single step that you take towards your goal that wholly combines to result into its fulfillment. And in today's world, compounding has become a very essential part of our growth. I mean, look at the world around us. We are surrounded with instant fixes. From instant coffee to instant noodles to 24/7 news to online shopping. Which reminds me, how many of you have got online shopping apps like Amazon and Flipkart on your phones? Please raise your hand.
Me.
I believe all of us. This is how dangerously close we have come to believing we have access to an instant life. But is life really a clickable link? Of course not. And that's why compounding is the only means to growth. As Toastmasters too, we have witnessed its impact on our journey. As it is through every meeting, each speech that we deliver and the role that we take up that ultimately compound to help us achieve our goal of joining Toastmasters in the very first place. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. I am Akansha Parihar and I am your Toastmaster of the day. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome you all to the 30th meeting of the Vasco Toastmasters Club. As we have all understood by now, the theme of the meeting is the compounding effect. For the benefit of our guests, I would like to brief you all the structure of today's meeting. The meeting is divided into 3 segments. However, for today's meeting, the first segment is divided into 2 parts, namely the prepared speech segment and an educational session, followed by the table topics round, which is then followed by the last segment, the evaluation session. To help with the smooth conduct of the meeting, we have 3 minor role players. Now to say, their role may be minor, but the work of each impacts the meeting. I remember the time I took a minor role and how my small mistake affected the flow of the entire meeting. Indeed, a compounding effect. So the first role player we have is someone who ensures correct usage of grammar as well as improving our vocabulary. Grammarian. Taken up my Toastmaster Ritesh from the MAPSA Toastmasters Club. Toastmaster Ritesh considers himself a lifelong student and wants to use compounding by constantly learning and thereby achieving growth. I would now like to welcome Toastmaster Ritesh to introduce his role as a grammarian. Toastmaster Ritesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, my fellow Toastmasters, and my guest. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speaker, listen carefully the good usage of language. I will take a note of importance and outstanding words, quotes, and thoughts. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. Today's meeting, the word of the day is green, which means to give a broad smile, to smile widely. Examples are, a teacher had a huge grin on her face after reading a beautiful article. Another example is, things had gone well because he had a big grin on his face. Another example, my father grins when he is happy. Each speaker is encouraged to use word of the day, that is green. I will give my report, that is grammarian report and word of the day report, called on during the meeting. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, grammarian. A second role player is someone who keeps track of all the ums and ahs and all the filler words that often hinder our speech. The ah counter, taken up by Toastmaster Vishal Sharma. I welcome Toastmaster Vishal to introduce his role as the ah counter. Toastmaster Vishal.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Akansha. Am I visible and audible?
Yes.
Yes.
A very good evening to my fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. I am the R counter for today's meeting. So who is an R counter? A person who counts the number of crutch words such as filler words such as you know, I mean, well, but, so, etc., unwanted pauses and gestures you use when you are speaking on the stage. These are filler words that affect your effectiveness while delivering your speech. You might have observed the grammarian for today's meeting, or even the president, when they paused for a short while. We were expecting them to speak, but they paused, and it slightly deviated our attention. These are one of those R counters, our counts that I'll be counting during today's meeting. When called upon by the general evaluator, I'll be presenting my report. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishal. The final member of this team is someone who is responsible for the timely conduct of the meeting as well as each segment of the meeting. The timer taken up by Toastmaster Swayam Nayak. Toastmaster Swayam wishes to acquire the skill of decision making and overcome his habit of procrastination. It is his use of the compounding effect on each decision that is going to help him achieve this. I would now like to welcome our timer, Toastmaster Swayam. Toastmaster Swayam.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guest. As a timer, it's my duty to time all the table topic speakers, prepared speeches, and evaluators, and also make them aware of the time remaining by using the colors green, yellow, and red. For the table topic session, the table topics speakers should limit their speech up to 2 minutes and speak a minimum of 1 minute. I'll flash the green color at 1 minute, yellow at 1 minute 30 seconds, and red at 2 minutes. For the prepared speech session, the speeches should be 5 to 7 minutes. I'll show the green color at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. An evaluation session, evaluators should limit their speech from 2 to 3 minutes. I'll show the green color at 2 minutes, yellow at 2.5 minutes, and green and red at 3 minutes. When called upon by the general evaluator, I'll present my timer's report. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, timer. Now that our role players are introduced, it is time to introduce a general evaluator, Toastmaster Balkrishna Kamath. When I asked Toastmaster Balkrishna about one skill he wanted to invest in, his answer was leadership skills. He uses the power of compounding to become a good leader of his business by continuously upskilling himself with trainings and reading. And today, he is here to evaluate our session. I now welcome Toastmaster Balkrishna, our general evaluator.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, Toastmasters, guests. I will be the general evaluator for today, and I would be evaluating the entire session. I am already started noting all the good things and what could have been improved in this entire meeting. At the end of the meeting, I would be back with a general evaluation session, and I will help introduce all the evaluators and all the minor role player evaluators and help them give their report at the end of the meeting. As of now, thank you. See you at the end. Over to the TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Finally, it is time to begin the first segment of the Toastmasters meeting, the prepared speech segment. In this segment, members deliver speeches based on the projects and paths they have chosen. It is by completing each level they manage to complete the path, an appropriate illustration of the compounding, which can very well be highlighted from our speaker, our distinguished Toastmaster, Toastmaster Siona's journey, as today she will be completing her path of motivational strategies. But before I call upon her, I would like to call her speech evaluator, DTM Colin, to read out her speech objectives. Over to you, DTM Colin.
Good evening, everyone. Am I visible?
Yes.
Okay. The purpose statements or the objectives of Toastmaster Siona's speech are for her to reflect on her growth during the completion of an entire path, and also for her to share some aspect of her growth during the completion of a path. Over to you, Toastmaster Siona. Oh, sorry, Toastmaster Akansha.
Thank you, Toastmaster. I would now like to call upon Toastmaster Siona to the screen to begin her speech, Path to Achieving Milestone Completion. Toastmaster Siona, Path to Achieving Milestone Completion.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akansha. Just a small correction. To the timer, my speech is 10 to 12 minutes and not 5 to 7 minutes. Okay? May I begin? Why did you join Toastmasters? Akansha, why did you join Toastmasters?
I joined because I wanted to get back to my skill of public speaking.
Thank you. Toastmaster Abrar?
I've always been passionate about communicating and networking. Thought this was the right place in order to know more like-minded people.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to tell me why did you join Toastmasters?
Me.
Okay, I did not hear that. Anyways, thank you so much. I have collected
Hello,
a few.
can I go?
Yes, tell me, Akshay.
Yes, usually I used to do comparings for the programs at my hostel. So that's why my hostel members selected me for the Toastmasters.
The session will be a virtual one.
Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay. So I've also collected feedback from the other Toastmasters, and I would like to summarize them, collecting what you have said as well. To overcome fear of public speaking, some said to network, to enhance communication skills, to make mistakes and learn, to get feedback and learn, to be a great leader, and also some said, I still don't know. But I want to ask you another question. What are you doing about it? Or what steps did you take to overcome fear of public speaking, or to network, or to be a great speaker? Okay, let me tell you. To overcome fear of public speaking, we need to speak. And to be a great leader, we need to be doing something or leading a team. And for this, Toastmasters is divided into two parts: communication and leadership skills development. Some said, I still don't know. If you are there in this room, I think we can connect a little later after my speech. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. In August 2015, I was invited to ICG to come and see. I did go and see, and found myself in a very well organized room with around 15 people who spoke flawlessly. My immediate thought was, I don't fit in here. But the next moment, I felt a hard knock on my head, and my heart instantly said, this is a great place for you to get out of the shell of fear that you have living in for 3 decades. That was my call to join Toastmasters, and I'm glad that I followed my heart. And what did I do after joining? I spoke. And do you know how much? This slide will tell you. 20 speeches in traditional manual, 16 speeches in dynamic leadership pathways, and 16 in motivational. I participated in the international speech contest at club, area, and division. I participated as the speaker for the division contest, test speaker. I have given 2 keynotes, one in Bombay and one in Goa. I raised the toast for my best friend's wedding and one for my godchild's communion. And I have a one recording on the CCR TV. These are just the prepared speeches since I joined Toastmasters. Leave aside the major, minor, and the evaluators role. Now, my icebreaker first speech had multiple drafts. For rehearsals, my first audience was my family, my colleagues, my mentor, and finally the real Toastmasters. But as time progressed, I found myself evolving not only in writing speeches but also in delivering with less rehearsals, less audience before I actually spoke. And now I feel that everything and anything can turn out to be a great speech. Often I receive compliments on the catchy title and the speeches with good message. I remember I met a Toastmaster after 2 years who told me, I still remember your speech even though you did not win the international speech contest at the division level. This was a great achievement for me. And I told myself, you should be proud of yourself. How does this happen, Toastmasters? You need to practice writing, practice rehearsing, and practice delivering. Now, you must have heard this, or you must have said this. I don't have the time. I don't have a topic. I don't know what to write. Is this familiar? Well, I don't have this in mind.
Yes.
I grabbed every opportunity. Being a timid person that I was, it took me a while to actually make an attempt to speak. And finally, I told myself, I did not wish to increase the revenue of Toastmasters International by just paying up membership fees. And then there was no looking back. In the first 6 months, I concentrated on the minor rules, followed by the major rules. And in 2 terms, I completed the competent communication manual from the traditional manual. I was the first one to complete the first part in 2019 at my home club in ICG. And today, I complete my second part. I'm not a TTM yet, Toastmaster Akansha. This is what I did to develop my communication skills. Now let's come to leadership. All those who said they want to improve leadership skills, what are you doing about it to improve your leadership skills? Or what have you done? I must say that Toastmasters is the best platform for everyone, especially in corporate offices. We can learn so much, but sadly, Toastmasters is not so well known. The biggest secret of Toastmasters is that it's a leadership organization where we can get on the job training when you take roles at the club, district, and beyond. I always thought I was a great leader. However, Toastmasters confirmed that Toastmasters is where leaders are made. My leadership journey is the most fruitful one because that's what I love about Toastmasters more than speaking. Within a year of joining, I organized a gospel concert with my family and friends that was staged twice. After gaining a little confidence, I nominated myself to be the president of ICG Toastmasters Club, my first ExCom role. This was indeed a big challenge, and I must admit that it was the best part of my leadership journey. I learned about teamwork and development, people management skills. Along with my ExCom, we set a benchmark by organizing picnic meetings, dinner meetings, outdoor meetings, and even organizing a blood donation camp. I got involved in putting the finances in place for the last couple of years of that club, and I opened up a bank account and handed over a clean sheet of accounts to the incoming team. Contest time is the best time to enhance leadership skills. And I must say that I have and develop my planning and execution skills. My passing comment that my next role will be the area director ended up being nominated as the area director in 2019-20. This was my big leadership role, and I developed strategic thinking skills. My second role in the XCOM is the Vice President of Education, and I developed persuasive and influencing skills. As the division director, I developed delegation skills by planning and executing training programs and spiritual programs. And of late, I have my own new blog. I've also done the radio and the billboard campaign along with the joint meeting with the Lisbon Toastmasters Club. Now currently I serve as the Sergeant at Arms, and this role helps me to bring in my creativity and innovative skills. My accomplishments give due credit to the core competencies and skills that I developed along the way. Allow me to show you my pride. As a member, I was awarded the Value Ambassador in 2017. As the area director, I was able to charter the Teva Goa Toastmasters Club, and I was the mentor there. We were able to make this club distinguished club. As the division director, I was able to support and charter Vasco and Ponda Toastmasters Club, and was able to get in a lot of members, and I have the sponsor badge. I've been given this co-value Toastmasters badge, which I really like. And this is what I will cherish, Toastmasters International Honors. Am I done yet? Do you think? No way. I have to fulfill a promise I have made to my husband to be a distinguished Toastmaster before the end of this year. And some of my unfulfilled projects that are to make Goa an independent division, a speechcraft. If someone in the room wants to do a speechcraft, I am there to support you. And damn, yes, I want to be the damn next term, probably. A couple of times I nearly took a break, but was reminded to continue to inspire many who are like me before I joined Toastmasters, along with the Toastmasters family. Well, the art of motivation is just a masterful blend of communication expertise, motivational techniques, and leadership abilities. I thought I was a collaborative type of a person, but it turned out that I am take charge kind of a person. I wish everyone in the room, all the Toastmasters, a fruitful journey like mine. Over to you, Toastmaster Akansha.
Congratulations, Toastmaster Siona, on completing your path. I request everyone to stand up and give Toastmaster Siona a round of applause on completing her path.
Thank you.
Everyone, kindly give your feedback to Toastmaster Siona in the chat box. We'll maintain a silence of 1 minute for this purpose. Timer, kindly let us know when the minute is up.
What Toastmaster? 1 minute is up.
Okay, thank you. Now, typically, we have a voting of the best speaker at the end of the segment, but since today Toastmaster Siona was the only speaker, we won't be launching the poll. The next segment of today's meeting requires us to be all ears to learn, as it is an educational session by DTM Raymond Pereira. Toastmaster Raymond wants to develop a habit of reading while picking up on the ability to dance, as he considers dance an expression of love and laughter. I believe it is this appreciation for the different forms of expression that today he is here to discuss one such form of expression, writing, and its association with laughter. I welcome Toastmaster Raymond to begin his session, Right to Laugh. Over to you, Toastmaster Raymond.
Thank you, Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen. Before we start, I just want to know if you can see me, hear me, check my hands.
Yes, Toastmaster, you are audible and visible.
Lovely. Let's do this. First of all, since this is going to be a humorous writing thing, I'm going to ask questions and I'm going to need some sort of replies. Who have done a humorous speech in their life? You can either raise your hands or write on the chat. We have the grammarian, Toastmaster Ritesh. Anybody else? Come on, you guys have not done. Oh yeah, we have Toastmaster Akshana. We have Anthony Games, not intentionally. Sienna has done it as well. The timer has done it as well. See, you cannot lie about this, okay? Everybody has done a humorous speech in their life, either to run away from their school, their parents, their teachers, their siblings, or if you stole something, you have to do something that will make you run away from that situation. Either you laugh, cry, dance, take a beating, you will give a humorous speech. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Raymond. I am from Anaphon Toastmasters, Elite Challengers Toastmasters, Trainers Toastmasters. So as of today, I'm in 3 clubs all around the world. And I'm a humorous speaker. That's what everybody else says. I don't say that. If they laugh, it's their problem. I don't make anybody laugh. I make myself laugh. And because I'm laughing, everybody is laughing. And Sienna is so busy looking at something else. See, let's laugh at her. So there she left. So what I'm trying to say is humor speaking is one of the most important things if you want to touch somebody's heart, steal something from somebody, negotiate, kindness, anything, because there are 2 types of speeches, humor or inspirational speeches that works with your heart. You can write so many speeches all you want. You can do presentations, but if you make people laugh, cry, inspire, trust me, you got them. Somebody, JMO deal, Joke Master of the Day. Yes, that's great. But Joke Master is the stepping stones of doing a humorous speech. So I'm just putting some ground rules on the way. One thing, humorous speech is not giving one-liners, like just talking about anything and no connection. A humorous speech has to have a start to an end. So I'm just give you a little brief about a humorous speech before we go to writing a humorous speech. Because many people just give one-liners and do talk shows and people laugh about it so crazily. It's good, but that's not a humorous speech, especially in Toastmasters. And especially if you're doing this for the contest, which is upcoming for many clubs, you have to do it as a speech. I've been doing humorous speech for the last 5 years, and I have reached almost to the district. And in all the time, I focused on enjoying my speech rather than delivering just for the contest. So I will have a slideshow, but what I'm going to do is I'm not going to present anything. So you don't have to have another screen for me. I just want you to make my screen bigger because I'm going to display my slideshow through my screen. So I want to make sure you guys can see my slideshow. Yes?
Yes, Raymond.
Lovely.
Yes,
Very
Raymond.
good. So my topic for today is Right to Laugh, and welcome to Right to Laugh, because this is what you're going to do. You write something. So if you have your pencil, paper, notebook, chalk, anything that writes, keep it ready, take a piece of paper, and let's start writing to laugh. The first thing we need to understand is what is our goal in our humorous speech. You might say it is, I want to win the humorous contest, or I want to make people laugh. So you need to understand your goal, and then you need to know what is that goal, because based on your goal, you will write a speech. Do you want to write a speech to make your board of directors laugh? Do you want to write a speech to make your friends laugh? Do you want to write a speech to win a club contest, or an area contest, or a division contest, or a district contest? You need to know what is your goal. Once you have your goal in place, then we'll come to start writing the right speech. So make sure, point number one, I'm going to just directly get into, because I need to save time. 20 minutes is all I have. 17 minutes is as of it right now. Now, let's look at point number one. First of all, you need to understand the types of humorous speech. When I've been trained as a humorous speaker, I've been trained of two types of humorous speech. First one is called the heartbeat. The heartbeat waveform humorous speech, where from 5 to 7 minutes, from 0 to 7 minutes, you're making people laugh and then talk, laugh and then talk, laugh and then talk. This way, you're making people laugh at intervals. It might be a small laugh or it might be a big laugh. This is good. There's nothing wrong with it, because you're making people laugh throughout your speech. So you need to understand, am I going to give a heartbeat wave speech, or am I going to give a growth explosive speech? Now, what is a growth explosive speech? You start slow, but you're building suspense. You're building momentum. You're building, and people are laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And that intensity of laugh is increasing bit by bit by bit by bit, until they are just thrown off their chair and they're laughing so much that their stomach hurts and they fall down, or they want you back on stage and like, hey, let's laugh more. They're laughing even when you go off the stage. So you need to understand what type of speech you're going to do. Am I going to do a heartbeat, or am I going to do a growth explosive, where in the end it's massive? So based on these two things, these are strategic humorous writing concepts. You laugh, or you make people laugh in that way. If anybody has questions, please feel free to write it on the chat box. Now, like any speech, you have the intro, the body or the story, and a call to action. But in a humorous speech, there's one more element, which you can also do it in normal speeches, but it is ideal to have it in a humorous speech, called the outro. You have the intro, you have the story, you have the call to action, and you have the outro. You started with a bang, you end with a bigger bang. You started silent, you end massive explosion of laughter. So keep in mind 4 points, because we are going to talk about these 4 points. Intro, story, call to action, which is basically normal in any speech that you do. But in a humorous speech, we have the outro. The outro is what blows people out of their mind. And many humorous speakers forget about it. And I'm going to tell you what it is. Now, before we get into the breakdown of the speech, the most important thing which comes in humorous speech is relatability. I will laugh if I listen to somebody's speech, only if I can relate to it, only find it funny. So when you're choosing a topic, any topic that you want to speak about, but is it going to relate to my audience? For example, I just came to know that Toastmaster Sienna rides motorcycles. Wow. So if I'm going to make her laugh, I'm going to talk about something similar. I just found out that one of you guys were a joke master of the day. So if I talk about something related to joke master, he might laugh or she might laugh. So it all depends on relatability. How relatable? Like all of you guys are in Goa right now. Most of you are in Goa. I'm not right now. And I know it's raining heavily there. At least that's what my mom told me. So if I try to talk about the rains, the advantages and disadvantages of rain, some of you will relate. Some of you may not relate. It all depends on your relative. So when you choose a story, and once you have chosen your story, intro relatability is part of your speech. So intro, story, call to action, outro, and in all the 4 elements, you have to know how it is relatable to the audience. Number 3, punchlines. What are the punchlines of... Hello, can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. What are the punchlines that you are going to have? Now, what are punchlines? Punchlines are the elements where people will laugh. For example, I just brought up Toastmaster Sienna, and I'm going to write something about her because I know she will be there for this meeting. And I know how much of a trouble she had to get members in all her journey as a leader. She was like, Raymond, I want members. Raymond, I want members. Isn't that right, Toastmaster Sienna? Yeah. She nodded because it was relatable. So one part was done. But if I'm going to make it funny, I have to add something as a punchline which will make her laugh and will make all the people who remember Toastmaster Sienna's chase for people. Like she was literally chasing everybody. Please join Toastmasters. Please join Toastmasters. She was going on the radio. She was going on the TV. You know, she put that presentation that I did all these speeches. And so even for the wedding, maybe she might have proposed Toastmasters in somebody's toast of, I don't know who she said. So she was like, subtly she might have said, join Toastmasters. So this is what she could have done. So here, these are my punchlines. And then she started smiling already. She knows what I'm talking about. Likewise, you need to have your punchlines, whether it is in the intro, whether it is in the story, whether it is in the call to action or the final outro. Pauses. If people are laughing at your speech, you cannot speak while they are laughing because they are already deaf. They are laughing. They cannot hear you. So maybe more of your punchlines or your story or anything will be lost. So you need to know where your pauses are. So you have to write in a way where your pauses will remain. So this is your punchline. Say over here, 3 seconds gap, 2 seconds gap. But there's a small trick you need to know. Sometimes people will not laugh at your speech or at that particular line. So you need to know, oh my God, nobody's laughing. I need to immediately continue to the next line. So you need to know where are your pauses. Callbacks. Callbacks are something that you want people to repeat. Now, this doesn't really work much on a Zoom platform, but it does work if you're meeting in person. In Zoom, what I do, I say, okay, guys, please write on the chat, what was the title of my workshop? Let's do it. Anybody? What was the title of my workshop?
Right to laugh.
Right to laugh. Someone will say that. Now, if I keep calling back, I say again, what was the workshop or title of my workshop? Somebody say it.
Right to laugh.
Right to laugh. Now, if I do this regularly and I call the audience to repeat my title, repeat what I'm going through, people will start to put it into their mind. And every time I say it, people will laugh. So you need to write, okay, here I will have a callback. I will ask the audience, what did I say? What happened to me? So and so thing happened to me. Again, what happened to me? So and so thing happened to me. So I put the callbacks in my speech. Finally, the title. I always write the title last. I know what is my title of my speech, but I need to make it catchy. The more catchy it is, the more people will laugh. One of the trick I use in my titles is I say my title in advance. So the contest master will say, let us call Raymond Pereira. Raymond Pereira, crazy title, Raymond Pereira. So people will start laughing at the contest master or at the contest chair. Oh, what a funny title. So you're already lightening the moment even before you start. For example, in one of the contests, I said, he is mad. That was my title. So the contest chair said, Raymond Pereira, he is mad. He is mad, Raymond Pereira. People laughed. Then I said, what is the problem, contest chair? I am mad? Seriously? That's your problem? I am mad? Where's the judges? Judges, please stand up. See, this is what he's doing. People started laughing even before I started my speech. So I made my intro a conversation with the contest master. The contest master didn't say anything, but he or she just started my title with something funny. So make sure your title is very, very good. Now, we're going to have a sample story. Now here I've already given the title, which is NTM. What is my title, guys? There, the grammarian is eating my head. NTM, but the grammarian is saying, say grin. Grin, grin. Grammarian, I said grin 2 times.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so NTM, let's grin 3 times. Okay. Now, nobody of you know says what is NTM. So if the contest master says Raymond Pereira, NTM, Raymond Pereira. Contest master, do you know what is NTM? No to Toastmasters. No to Toastmasters. That is my title. Why no? Now, if you go back and you choose my relatable, because all of you guys are Toastmasters. How many of you are Toastmasters? Raise your hands. Almost everybody, but the other guys are shy. They don't want to raise their hands. Oh, there. President raised his hand. He opened his tongue. Anyway, so the point I'm saying is no to Toastmasters. So everybody will now start. Everybody's raising their hand. That's a delayed reaction. Wow. So everybody is saying they are Toastmasters. So first point is relatable, because this audience is all Toastmasters and they are probably grinning now. Number 4, Mr. Grammarian. I could relate. Now, starting with my intro. Why no to Toastmasters? You know, I don't agree with Toastmasters at all. I'm a DTM, I'm a champion, I did so many things, but no to Toastmasters. I don't recommend it at all. I'll tell you why. Number 1, we have a curse. I'll tell you why it's a curse. They tell you join Toastmasters, but they don't tell you hundreds of secrets behind it. Secret number 1, when you join Toastmasters, you have to bring your whole family to Toastmasters. Like I know Sienna's family, her whole family was Toastmasters. Daughter, son, grandfather, everybody Toastmasters. So they don't tell you the tricks. Like when you join Toastmasters, it's for everybody. So if you notice, now people started laughing because they could relate. And I started with an intro. The intro was, why do I say no to Toastmasters? My punchlines were, I connected with Sienna's story. And I paused for a second just to see if she would laugh, and she did. Now I go to the deeper story. The second reason Toastmasters destroyed my life. Let me tell you a story. I used to be a faithful Christian, very, very faithful. I go to church, I pray, but now I don't pray. I go to church and evaluate the priest. How many of you go to school and evaluate the teacher now, evaluate the priest, evaluate your bus conductor? In your mind, you're saying 3 positive things, 2 room for improvement. Even Akshana, when you go meet your boss and all that, your financial, you must be thinking, what this guy is talking, man. You should say it this way, would leave some gap. So this is how you start your story. Now, these are my punchlines. I started connecting. Third problem. Everybody is a mentor, but nobody knows to mentor. In Toastmasters, the day you join Toastmasters, you become a mentor because they dump somebody on you, whether they train you or not. Hey, mentor this guy. You have done one speech, no? Mentor the same speech. Icebreaker, you did 3 times, no? Mentor icebreaker. The problem is I don't know how to mentor. I don't have patience. They don't teach patience. They only teach you speeches. So you start adding stories to it. Point number 3, why I should not join Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, you only pay. You don't get paid. Sienna, have you ever got paid in Toastmasters? No. You should ask her how much she's paying. She's paying. So Toastmasters, you never get paid. You only pay. And not only for paying for the fees, you have to pay for breakfast, lunch, your mentor's lunch, roast omelette. Colin was saying, DTM Colin was saying, roast omelette with the mentor in Andaman Toastmasters. That also stopped. Why? Because all the time the mentor is only paying for a roast omelette and all the mentees are coming only for roast omelette. See, we only pay, we don't get paid. One day I called my mom. Hey mom, I won district champion. Humorous speech. You know what she asked me? In fact, she called me 2 minutes back. She asked me, Baba, how much money you got? There was pause over there, pause. And I had to tell her, Mama, I will get one day when I become, professional. She didn't. She's like, as long as you're paid now, good. If you're not paid now, you're wasting your time. So this is, you add punchlines and then you wait for people. See, Colin is laughing. So, I'm giving him a pause so he can laugh more. Only thing I can't hear is laugh. Silent whispering laugh. So pauses, punchlines, and then again. Now let me ask you a question. Callback. What did my mom say to me when I told her I won the district championship? Anybody?
Are you getting paid?
Exactly.
How much?
How much you earn?
How much did I earn? But did I get paid?
No.
And why was I not paid? Because in Toastmasters, what do?
You pay.
Exactly. You just pay. You don't get paid. So this is like I go in my story. I continue, add a couple of more punchlines, but they are all related. It's part of my story, which is no to Toastmasters. And finally, to my call to action. You know what? I can change this, guys. I'm not the complaining fellow. I can change it. Do we have Clyde in the house? No. We have Anthony, right? Somewhere Anthony. He was there. There he is, Anthony, hiding. Anthony, you are a district officer. I have a suggestion. Our Toastmasters have to be paid. If all of you agree, raise your hands. Yeah, someone nodding his head. Someone's raising hand. So all Toastmasters have to be paid. How to be paid? I'll give you a suggestion. If I bring a member to join, I need 50% for me. If I mentor, Anthony needs to pay me because that means that member will stay. If I give workshop, I want 2 roast omelets, period. So, I will put down all these things. This is my call to action to the district that we all have to be paid or we will go on strike. No to Toastmasters. No. So no NTM, no to Toastmasters if you don't listen. So this is where you make a call to action. And finally, the outro. So what are we waiting, guys? What do we want? We want to be paid or we want to just renew our membership? If we don't get paid, we don't renew our membership. Anthony is there. Are we ready? Will you join me in this battle? Yes. Grammarian said yes. So let's keep winning and let's keep winning and let's keep learning so that finally in Toastmasters, we will get paid and I will no longer say no to Toastmasters, but I will say what? President is. So what will you say if you don't say no to Toastmasters? What will you say?
Yes to pay.
Yes to pay. Well done. So that is my outro where you're going to again ask for people's opinion. Now, this is something very, very short. I have no idea what's my time because the timer seemed to have lost. Where's the timer gone? Somewhere around. So what I'm saying is, these are the structure you will follow. Intro, story, CTA, outro, punchlines that needs to be there, punchlines, more punchlines, pauses, callbacks, and title. So let's go back a little, rewind. Oops, sorry. Two choices of speeches, a heartbeat. Like what I did right now was more of a heartbeat. I was making you laugh in between, point by point. And or you can have a growth explosive. Now, what is a growth explosive? I started a speech called Panatoast. Panatoast is medicine for Toastmasters, where you eat some medicine and you become powerful Toastmasters. There are two types of medicines. Either you have a tablet or you have a suppository. Anybody know what a suppository? You can just put it in your backside. It fits well and you become powerful Toastmasters. So the story starts very slow. People are building the momentum and then finally it goes into an explosive way. So this way, as I said, there are two types of ways, heartbeat or growth. These are the 4 areas that you need to work on. All of them have to be relatable. It can be generic, like what I said about no to Toastmasters. It can be a personal story that happened so bad that this is how I went through. Like I told once a story about myself. My name is Raymond. People call me Raymond, Remond, Romond, killing my name. So like this, how many of your name gets killed? But we still enjoy that moment. We can talk about our parents. Once I spoke about weapons of love. How many of you have parents or had parents? These parents would beat us with chappals. Chappals. This is called the flying saucer. It is so lightweight, it flies like, even if you're hiding behind the sofa, it can fly and hit you. Or we have our friendly neighborhood ants. They take the ants and just throw it at you. Or the belts, or the plants, or the words. Look at Colin, he is better than you. Colin is cleaning his house. What you're doing? Nothing. You get compared. Or the worst thing is where you get compared, like, come home. I will show you. So the mental torture, what you're going to get before you even go home. And then your friends also know that Raymond is getting beaten. Good. So all that mental torture and everything. So it's a story. It doesn't have to be generic. You can write about anything. But finally, I will end with just one thing. Once you have written your story or your humorous speech, run it by your mentor or mentors or your club group or your friends. See how much they laugh, see how much they don't laugh, experiment with it. And finally, you will get a very, very good humorous speech. One small tip I will tell you before I leave. Humor is not practiced only when you write a speech. I could be very serious while doing this presentation, but I chose to make it funny as much as I could. And the more I practice being a humorous speaker, the more easier it will be. To become a humorous speaker. So be a humorous speaker all your life. For those who know me, or those who have seen me chat, for those who have seen me, it's very rare that I'm very, very serious. I'm always teasing, laughing, joking, making fun of people. So with that, cheers. And over to the Toastmaster Day. If I could have just 2 minutes for any questions that may come. Any questions or Toastmaster Day? It's up to you.
Yes. At the
Yes,
outro, and then you said growth explosion speech means at the last when you're ending, you said that you have
Yes.
to end with the explosion. uh,
Yes.
start with a silence and then end with the explosion.
Yes.
Yes,
That is the growth. That is the growth method.
growth.
In the growth
So
method, you start slow and build a momentum till you explode.
explode. So when I give a speech, I try to end with some quotes. So the famous quotes I select. But when you are giving a humorous speech, you can't give a quote. You have to crack a joke at the end.
No, you can do anything. See, it's all up to you. There's no you. There's nothing you cannot do. You can do everything, but you have to make it funny. For example, my district director in one of the events, she's a little, big, huge in size. No offense to anybody, including her. And I was speaking about a speech about my cousin brother who stitches clothes. He still stitches clothes. He's a tailor. And my mother said, Raymond, look at Raju, become a tailor. So I became a woman's tailor. So I was telling, I'm stitching this and he's stitching that, and I'm stitching this and he's stitching that. And finally, when I came to that last minute, you know what I did? I stitched the district director's district conference dress. And I actually took out a dress which was so slim that everybody burst out laughing because she's huge and the dress was so thin. And I said, this is what she's going to wear. And everybody's like, oh my God. And they were laughing even when I went down the stage. So this is called an explosive technique where you keep the final punch at that last minute. You have to time it really well. So you start small because in this speech, the speech was called Be Like Raju. I started really small, like I am this, Raju is this. I am that, Raju is this. And I slowly build the momentum. Any other questions? Because I think we are out of time.
Raymond,
Yes,
just
Colin.
something, yeah. If you could quickly, in a minute or so, touch on the aspects of, what do you say, your plagiarism. Because
Okay.
most of the groups are having that problem, and for humorous speech, that is very important.
Okay. Now in plagiarism, many people copy other people's speech. There are two types of plagiarism. One is you take something off the net or YouTube, or you see somebody's past speeches and you try to copy it. You will be disqualified because of content and because of plagiarism. You cannot copy speeches. Even if you try to make the concept similar, it is okay, but if it's relatable, like sometimes people will take it from a Tinkle book, someone will take it from a stand-up comedian, somebody will take it from Colin, who's a very good humorous speaker. So if the judges know it, and then there are chances of disqualification. That is one. That's the bad part. The second part, which is not so bad, but it will affect you, is it will affect your creativity. You will not be able to push your own personal stories as a humorous speaker. Try as much as possible, make your own stories. Initially, nobody might laugh. When I was in the division contest with 600 people in front of me, nobody laughed. That was my first year. But over a period of time, I've learned to change everything. And this is how you need to work. So plagiarism. Now, the second type of plagiarism is where you make fun of the previous speaker. It was allowed in the past, but now with the new contest rule book, it is not allowed. You cannot copy elements. So if, for example, if Siona was talking about something about her motorcycle, and then I would say, yeah, the previous speaker spoke about her motorcycle, but look at me, I'm driving a bullet, not like her. So the judges know I'm referring her and I'm talking about her speech. Again, that's a small kind of plagiarism. So do not copy. Build your own speech, make fun either of yourself or someone who agrees to be made fun of. Like, see, many times I brought up Colin, I brought up Siona today. But when I made fun, I did not cross the line. I did not insult them. I did not put them down. I just made fun of real life incidents that they also find it funny. So again, plagiarism has so many elements in this where you have to not copy, be original. You can take stories that your parents have told you, but it should not be a copy. It should be your experience of that story. Like, see, Toastmasters. Everybody knows we are evaluators. Everybody knows. So I didn't talk about somebody or an incident. I spoke about what we generally do and my experience about it. So I hope that clears the point, DTM Colin.
It's allowed up to 25% if you quote.
Yes.
So
Yes.
only up to 25%, but I would suggest avoid it.
Avoid it, exactly. Because to calculate at 25%, it's a gamble. Any other questions? So I would leave that now over to the Toastmaster today. Akansha. Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Raymond, for that insightful session. Usually, educational sessions are assumed to be boring, but yours got a grin on our faces. Thank you for that. It is now time for the fun and the challenging part of the Toastmasters meeting, the impromptu speech segment or the table topics round. To give us the challenge in today's round, we have the table topics master, Toastmaster Saurav. Toastmaster Saurav wants to learn how to manage money. And what better than using the principle of compounding to not just manage wealth, but also multiply it. I welcome Toastmaster Saurav to take up the screen. Toastmaster Saurav.
Thank you, Toastmasters today, for introducing me. Good evening, fellow guests and Toastmasters. Welcome to the table topic session. So table topic session focuses on the art of improvisation. It helps you build 4 vital communication skills, that is listening, thinking, organizing, and delivering. Personally, it has helped me to think on our feet. Have you ever wondered when you are in a brainstorming session and everything's impromptu? It's similar, something like that. Unlike other sessions, a table topic session is open to everyone. So even the members and guests, everyone is welcome to participate. I have made some table topics I've prepared for everyone. So I'll be picking up anybody on random, and I hope everybody it takes a shot at it. And I have one advice is that minimum you have to speak for 1 minute. So whatever the topic is, just think about a story that you remember the last time and just try it out. So are there any volunteers to begin? Okay. Toastmaster Anthony, would you like to give it a try?
Well, now that you've asked, why not?
Yes. Yes. So Toastmaster Anthony, let's stick to the theme today. Okay. So if I give you 1 crore right now, or I give you 300 rupees every day, you have to choose one of these options. What would you choose and why?
Okay. Well, if you give me a crore now, or if there's an option that you give me 300 every day, I think I'd go for a crore now. You know why? Considering my indulgences, I don't think I'm going to live that long for those 300 to become a crore someday. And hence, I think the crore will bring a grin on my face right now. But let me tell you what I will also do with that crore. With that crore, I'm going to split it. I'm going to split it in such a way that I have a regular income coming in. And that is because I am done with the traveling that I have to do for work. You know, like they say, being on a thin ice, they should change it to a saying, to an expression, something like being on the going roads. I'm done traveling with all the potholes out there. So if I can take a break from traveling and be myself, be into my comfort zone, and because you see, I have that crow that you've just given me, when I have that with me, I think there'll be nothing to worry. And hence, 300, yes, I can help you with a name that you can give that 300 per day to. I will put it in the chat, okay? But for now, I think I'll take the crore. Thank you. And over to you, Toastmasters Master Saurav.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Anthony. That was a great attempt. So moving on, Toastmaster Ashley, would you like to give it a try?
Yeah, sure, Saurabh. But right now there's a fighter jet going above my head. So I'm sure you'll be hearing the noise. I'll give me a moment. It'll just pass off.
To be a coincidence, a fighter jet is also going through. We can take a break.
I am not sure where he's heading, but he just thought of starting it right away when I thought of speaking.
We're majorly in Vasco. Do you realize, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone.
Yes.
I guess his wife called him. He's gone for food.
Yes. So Toastmaster Ashley, your topic is, if Dash was an Olympic sport, you would win a gold at it.
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question. Could you please repeat it?
Dash blank space, if Dash was an Olympic sport, you would win a gold at it.
Wow, thank you very much for this lovely topic. And the moment I heard it for the second time, the only thought that came to my head was, if speaking was an Olympic sport, I would win a gold at it. And why I say that is, like, for every sport, you need some part of physical activity. But for speaking, you can just sit and keep on yapping, like my friends call me. They say, Ashley, you yap a lot. And this is what I have come many a times. And usually I give a call to my mentor and I always tell him, Anthony, this is going to be 5 minutes. And believe me, 5 minutes is just a start. The call goes on, and it stops when one of us is called by our family. This happens to me in school also. And I'm so glad that both the jobs that I do and the money that I get from is by speaking. I am a teacher by profession, so there you're paid to speak to students. And the second job I do is I'm a compere. So I get paid to go and speak at people's parties. So if speaking was a Olympic sport, I am sure I would get a gold at it because that's what I love doing. Over to you, Table Topics Master Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ashley. That was inspiring. Moving on, Toastmaster Raymond, would you like to give it a try? Toastmaster Raymond. Okay. Toastmaster Manali, would you like to give it a try?
Sort of, she's not in the room. I guess she dropped. Yes.
Okay, she just left, I think. Toastmaster Rajesh, would you like to give it a try? Yes.
Yeah. Sort of.
Yes. Yes. So here's the topic. If happiness was a national currency, what kind of work would make you rich?
Sorry, once again. If happiness
was a national currency, what kind of work would have made you rich, like really rich?
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Saurav, for the lovely topic. Your topic has brought a big green to my face, so that would count as number one. Yes, I would love to be a Toastmaster. As we heard our DTM Raymond say, we are not paid in Toastmasters. But what if happiness was a currency? I would be earning billions because every time I do something related to Toastmasters, I am really happy. And it not only brings happiness to me, but I'm sure it brings cheer to the hundreds of lives which our whole community has been touched. So every time I went for a meeting, ting ting, I would get a notification on my mobile that money has been credited to my account. Every time I give a speech, ting ting, another thing. Every time I do something about Toastmasters, it is about the money. Because finally, as you rightly said, the currency is not the money in the bank. It is the blessings and the gratitude which you have in your heart is what we term as currency. So yes, as you rightly said and pointed out, I would be the happiest person and earning in millions if I was doing the Toastmaster job very regularly. I am not able to see the green light. I hope it is come. Yeah, okay. So thank you, and over to you. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes. Thank you, Toastmaster Rajesh. That was inspiring indeed. It really motivates a lot of us. Toastmaster Akshay, would you like to give it a try? Toastmaster Akshay? Is visible. Okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Toastmaster Saurabh?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Here's your topic.
Okay. Yes. And what are the days? Green, right? Yeah, green. What is the days? Green? Okay.
Yes.
So yes, go ahead.
If you had to move 5,000 kilometers away from your home and you have to stay there for 6 months, what are the things that
5,000.
you, yeah, 5,000 kilometers away from your house, and you have to stay there for next 6 months, what are the things that you would really miss?
One second. You said about 5,000 kilometers if I stay outside, right?
Yes, you are just away from your house. You're no more staying in your house, and you're just 5,000 kilometers away from your house, and you cannot come back. You have to stay 6 months away from your house. What are the things that you would really miss?
Okay. It's very difficult to spend time without anyone. Staying alone, it's very difficult. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and guests. If I want to stay 5,000 kilometers away from my home, I could have said, for my job purpose, I could have find many the jobs. I could have given the interviews over there because for visually impaired, it's very difficult to find a job, and that's why if I explore myself to 5,000 kilometers away from my home, then the job should be like as a trainer, as a computer learner, and computer operator and repairer, or high post also. If I would have got, I could have prepared for that, and I'm assuring all of you that within 6 months, I could have come home back, and I could have met my parents, and they would be very happy that I learned something away from my home. Its place is located just 5,000 kilometers away from me. And what are your suggestions, Toastmaster Saurabh, on this?
I think
Over
that's
to
a
you.
real, yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster Akshay. I think that's a really good idea. I like the way you think. Thank you. That was a great attempt. I want to check with the timer. Can we take one more table topic?
Yeah, we can take one more.
Yes. Toastmaster Usha, would you like to give it a try? Toastmaster Usha. I think Toastmaster, yes. Toastmaster Usha, am I audible to you? I cannot hear Toastmaster Usha. Can somebody confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, Saurav, you are audible, but I doubt we have time for another
Okay.
another speaker.
Okay. Okay. I thought no, she had turned on her camera and.
In case if Usha is the room and she wants to attempt, we could go ahead with it.
I think she had put on her camera and all. Okay. If is Toastmaster Usha there? I think yeah, we can end this session here. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much everyone for taking the topics and attempting it. I give the podium back to Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Akansha. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saurabh, for that wonderful table topic session. The table topic session ends with the voting for the best table topic speaker. I now request the Zoom master to launch the poll.
Yeah.
Is everyone done with the voting?
Yes, Akansha.
Okay. Thank you, Zoom master. Finally, we arrive at the final and the most crucial part of the meeting, that is the evaluation. As what gets evaluated and fed back gets improved. For today's meeting, we have Toastmaster Balkrishna as our general evaluator who will be giving his evaluation on the speech as well as the overall session. I now hand over the session to General Evaluator Toastmaster Balkrishna.
Good evening, TMOD and my fellow Toastmasters, guests. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, Balakrishna, you are.
Thank you so much. Well, friends, what's the use of giving a speech at a Toastmasters Club meeting if it's not evaluated? And this session of general evaluation will focus exactly on that. But for the benefit of guests and even the evaluators who are going to come in this session, I would like to tell a small technique which is used by every evaluator at a Toastmasters Club evaluation session. And what's that technique? The technique is a sandwich method of evaluation. What's the sandwich method? The sandwich method will have a sweet bread on top and chutney in between, which is going to be pungent, which will bring a lot of green instead of green on people's face. So the evaluators have to use this sandwich method and evaluate the speakers. We had a session of prepared speech, and our speaker for today was Toastmaster Siona, and her evaluator was Toastmaster DTM Colleen. Now let us see who is DTM Colleen. Well, DTM Colleen is a distinguished Toastmaster, which is a distinguished Toastmaster is one of the highest accolades a Toastmaster is given in Toastmasters Club. DTM Colleen has held many leadership positions at club, area, and even district levels. He has been contestant as well as judge and chief judge at many Toastmasters contests. Let's hear some wisdom from DTM Colleen, and I invite him to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Siona. Welcome, DTM Colleen.
Thank you, Toastmaster Balkrishna. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
All right. Today, I had the opportunity of evaluating Toastmaster Siona, who probably will not be Toastmaster Siona much longer. She will be Distinguished Toastmaster Siona in the near future. And I see everything that happened with a signature Siona grin. Toastmaster Siona's signature grin. The whole speech was around that. So let me look at how the objectives were met. First of all, a very in-depth reflection on her Toastmaster journey. Inspirational, in-depth reflection. An excellent way she started by getting the audience involved. All of you were asked questions. I mean, the questions were generally asked and the answers given. In fact, she went on later on to even put it down as a research she conducted beyond the questions which she asked us here today. So excellent effort. She described every milestone of her journey in detail, which went right beyond Toastmasters even. And they came with photographs, they came with some animation, which enlivened up the whole speech. Eventually, she made the speech very inspirational. I was particularly inspired. Excellent slides, very detailed, and of course, very attractive animations. Now, what I would say that Toastmaster Siona could work on, even though I just said that the slides were very attractive, what I felt was at some point, they were also a little crowded. So Toastmaster Siona, maybe a little bit of segregation. Keep the slides, but segregate them. At some point of time, I found, Toastmaster Siona, that you were a little in a monotone mode. So a bit of voice variation could help. Sit a little behind. Now you're sitting right, but at the speech, you were sitting a little in front. So the top of your head was chopped off. Well, fortunately on camera, we cannot have a criminal offense for that. But definitely, if you can see the whole face, it would be so much better. And what I would challenge you to do is, in the visual mode, in the online mode, I think one of the main things which can be used are hand gestures. And if you can use hand gestures, it would make so much of a difference. So if possible, hand gestures. Well, you spoke about the art of motivation, as indeed is a masterful blend of all skills working together. And you actually presented it to us here. An inspirational speech that said so many things in so many ways, uncountable ways. So the compounding effect was definitely visible. You started with small things where you were feeling a little, the beginnings were you were not very convinced about joining Toastmasters, etc., which went on to becoming a division director in the end. So this was a compounding effect, in my opinion. And I think what I would say is it is a celebration. This speech was a celebration of all your achievements. I have witnessed Toastmaster Siona almost from the time she has joined Toastmasters in 2015, and I have seen what she has done from there onwards. One of the achievements she spoke of is president of ICT Toastmasters. Yes, I think I know of those times. It's wonderful achievement. It's all small inhibitions put aside. Toastmaster Siona carried it forward with that signature grin. All the best to you, soon to be DTM Toastmaster, DTM Siona Fernandez. Over to you, Balkrishna.
Yeah.
Thank
you, DTM Colin. A wonderful evaluation, and I hope it helped Toastmaster Siona and all of us get his true feedback for this particular speech. The next round of evaluators on agenda, we have mentioned them as minor role players. I don't know why. In fact, they are one of the most major role players, and they are going to give us feedback on 3 aspects: the grammar, the timing, and the R part of each speech. Well, I'm going to call them one by one, but all of you should ideally note how they are giving the evaluation. So at the end of it, you can actually give them voting on who was the best evaluator out of these 3. The first evaluator, what the agenda says, a minor role player, but the major evaluator is going to catch all the A's and the does that you have missed, the grammar of the entire speech. I invite Toastmaster Ritesh Banawlikar, the grammarian for today, to come and provide us with his report on grammar. Over to you, Toastmaster Ritesh.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster General Evaluator. My report on good words quotes, the words which I heard first time. TMOD Akansha said, the life is clickable link. TM Siona said, hard knock on the head. Even I felt that hard knock on my head when I started Toastmasters and Zoom meetings. The new word I heard is masterful blend. DTM Raymond, he said, speech work with heart, and rather than delivering, enjoy your speech. I'll really like that. DTM Rajesh said, sandwich method of evaluation. I will remember that when I will be evaluating. DTM Colin said a word, monotone mode. I will list the list of speakers who use the word of the day. TMOD Akansha used it once. Then DTM Balkrishna once. DTM Colin once. DTM Raymond said green 4 times, and every time he said it bring a green on my face. TM Anthony said it once, and DTM Rajesh said it once. TM Akshay said green twice before he started his speech. Thank you. That was all in the report. Back to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ritesh. Well, the words ah, they look very nice and glamorous on Shah Rukh Khan, but remove the greens from a Toastmaster if they bring it on their lips. And to evaluate whether people have actually used the R's and the unwanted words, we have the R counter for today who will come up to give his report. And for that, I invite Toastmaster Vishal Sharma to come here and give the R counter report.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Balakrishna. I'll start off with the Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Siona. Toastmaster Siona, as a Sergeant at Arms, used one unwanted pause. She used the word him, and then changed it to himself. The President, upon being called, used one one and I, and one we do have. The TMOD for today's meeting used one unwanted pause. The grammarian used one unwanted pause. 2 I will, 10 times and the word another example once. As the counter for today's meeting, I used 2 unwanted pauses and 2 R's. The timer, Toastmaster Swayam, used the word I'll show once, one unwanted pause, and 6 times DTM Colin, when called upon for introducing his role, used 2 R's. Toastmaster Siona, as a speaker, used 1 R, repeated the words development in N, and used 3 unwanted pauses. DTM Raymond, during his educational session, used 1 R and repeated the phrase it will be once. Table topic master, Toastmaster Saurav, used 20 times R, 1 time and 2 times so. Table topic speaker, Toastmaster Anthony, used 5 R's, 1, 2. Toastmaster Ashley used 1 R. Toastmaster Rajesh used 4 R's. Toastmaster Akshay used 1 R and 2 unwanted pauses. Toastmaster Balakrishna, as a general evaluator, has used 2 R's and 1 unwanted pause. DTM Colin, during his evaluation session, used 6 R's and 1 in the. Over to you, general evaluator.
Thank you. Ding dong. That's the sound of time. And for a speaker, time is of utmost importance. What's the use if the speaker keeps telling his blah, 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 even after the time is over? And to evaluate if how all our speakers have fared for today, let's invite the timer to give the timer's report. I now invite Toastmaster Swayam Naik to give the timer's report. Over to you, Toastmaster Swayam.
Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Balakrishna. So here's my timer's report for today's meeting with a silly green on my face. So the meeting started at 7. Started at 7, which was the exact timing. Our prepared speech, which was given by Toastmaster Siona. The speech went to a stretch of 12 minutes, 28 seconds. Our educational session given by DTM Raymond went for 30 minutes, 21 seconds. All the table topic speakers qualified. Toastmaster Anthony spoke for 1 minute, 20 seconds. Toastmaster Ashley, 1 minute, 13 seconds. Toastmaster Rajesh, 1 minute, 43 seconds. Toastmaster Akshay, 2 minutes, 1 second. The single evaluator, speech evaluator, DTM Colin, spoke for 3 minutes, 41 seconds. Here's all by my side. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, timer, Toastmaster Swayam. And now it's time to judge these minor role players. The Zoom master will put a poll on the Zoom right now. The Zoom master, can you put up a poll? And I request all of you to give them a feedback. You can also give them a direct feedback, or you could also press and submit who was one of the best role players out of these 3, grammarian, R counter, and timer. I hope all of you have submitted your polls. So before we leave this meeting, let me do a general evaluation of this entire meeting. Well, I will also use the sandwich method. Let's eat the bread first and let's go for the chutney later. Well, the agenda was released almost 2 days before on a nice group which was meant only for the role players. Very nice. The interaction between members and guests before the meeting was pretty good. And that's a very healthy practice, which brings in, it breaks the ice between all of us. The meeting started on time, but because of one of the speakers, I think it has got delayed. But it did start on time. I compliment that. The Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Fiona, she made a double role today. She was a speaker as well as a Sergeant at Arms. Very nice start, Toastmaster Fiona. You actually put the meeting rolling. The Zoom master had good control over Zoom, and he had already renamed all the members. In a lot of meetings, I see the Zoom master or the president asking people to rename their names, but here the Zoom master himself did it. The president, the presiding officer, he invited the guests to introduce themselves. Very good. It gives a lot of importance to guests. The Tio Modi, you are a star today. You explain and change the agenda with a very professional approach. Whenever there is a change, you made a proposer and a seconder. A very professional approach. And I feel all the clubs here should use and adopt this particular method of change of agenda. Very good, TMO. The grammarian, the R counter, the timer. I found that they introduced themselves with a script. Absolutely fantastic. And because of that, your roles and explanation were very clear to the audience and the guests. I will give you a suggestion, but at the end, when we start eating the chutney. The grammarian was reminding people to use word of the day. A lot of time we forget the word of the day that we should use this particular word. And he was constantly putting it in the chat box for people to use word of the day. Toastmaster Raymond, your speech was really wonderful. And it's the humorous speech contest season. And I'm sure all the data, all the information that you provided today will inspire a lot of us to participate in the humorous speech contest and adopt the techniques that you have taught us today. Thank you so much for that. Even I learned a lot of things from you. The table topic master, Toastmaster Saurav, he came up with pretty good topics, very interesting. And he handled the session very efficiently. He engaged the table topic speakers. Even when no one volunteered to take your topics, Toastmaster Saurav, you picked people up, gave them the topics, and you took the session very smooth. The R counter. In your report, Toastmaster Vishal, I liked one very interesting thing that you counted the R's of your own. Very few R counters will count their own R's because they are not at all aware that they are also doing R's. And you did that. Very interesting. Now let's come to the chutney part. Now, instead of getting a green on your face, you might have a small green. But I feel that if you could implement these points, the meeting that was very professionally conducted today would be really spiced up. What's the improvement that we could probably do? The timer's card couldn't be visible to all the participants. That was a bit of a problem because when people were speaking, I'm sure they must have not been aware whether they should stop or they should go, whether the greens have happened or the reds or the oranges happened. When the timer was introducing the timer's row, the timer could have actually shown the green, the orange, those cards in conjunction with the Zoom master. If that was the case, then it would have been easy for all of us to understand that where to stop and where to pause for our speeches. The introduction of the speaker for the TM Modi could have been a bit better. I think it was a very straightforward introduction. It could have been with respect to the theme. And One more thing, I had found that most of the participants had switched off the camera. I will request all participants, whoever attends Toastmaster meeting, not to switch off their camera. It is a mark of disrespect to the speaker. Imagine the speaker is speaking and none of the cameras are on. Not a good sign. So it is something which all of us have to come up with. It's not a mistake or anything of the club, or I wouldn't say anything about the XCOM, but it is all of us. It's a culture that we should maintain at Toastmasters. Well, I found that this was one of the most professionally conducted meetings which I have ever been. And if you could really put in some of these, whatever I have suggested and improve your meeting, next time the general evaluator probably may not have any flaws to point for you. I congratulate the XCOM and the president, a very smooth meeting. Thank you. And with this, I conclude the general evaluation session and hand over the session to the presiding officer, Toastmaster Abra. Over to you, Toastmaster Abra.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator, DTM Balakrishna Kamath.
I'm not a DTM, sorry.
I thought you were a DTM. I thought almost everyone from YMCA is a DTM. Most of them are excellent speakers. And thank you for joining us. This was our evaluation session. For the people who have joined in for the first time, this is how we do the evaluation without heckling anyone, by methods well defined by Toastmasters fraternity. I know we are not on time, so I'll just move up a little faster. We will now have the voting for the major role player of today's evening. Three, two, one. That's it. Thank you, Zuma sir, for launching the polls. Before we move ahead, I would like to make a few announcements to all the club members as well as the guest Toastmasters who are present here. I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Siona Fernandez for completing her second path, which is motivational strategies. She's given us one more point and got us a little closer to being the president distinguished club. To all the guest Toastmasters, in case if you're not happy with your club and if you would like to be a dual member, Vasco Toastmasters Club is looking out for members. You can contact our VP membership, Toastmaster Ashley Fernandez, if you would like to be a dual member, or even if you have any leads, all welcome. Next is about our next meeting. Vasco will be having its 31st meeting of our club on 1st of October 2021. And after that, we have our humorous speech and speech evaluation contest, which will be held on the 10th of October at 10 a.m. This will be a virtual contest, requesting if there are any any guest Toastmasters here looking out to be the contest chair or chief judge or any other role players, we are in for it. For people who are looking out for Diamond Club Awards, we are in for a barter system as well. Moving ahead, this particular announcement is only for our club members. We will be having a business session only for 10 minutes, requesting everyone to kindly wait back. Zuma sir, is it possible for us to move on to the award section?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. One of the sections where we actually appreciate the efforts put in by our attendees and the role players. The best able topic speaker for today's evening was Any guesses? It was Ashley Fernandez. Ashley, I hope the plane went a little faster. Can we hear for Ashley? We have the best.
Thank you. Thank you,
minor-
everyone.
Thank you. Your congratulations, Ashley. We have the best minor role player, and we have Toastmaster Vishal Sharma from Vasco Toastmasters Club. Congratulations, Vishal, for stepping up and taking up the role, the last moment of winning it. For best major role player, it was our Toastmaster Balkrishna Kamath from YMCA Club. Thank you for joining us. We also have certificate of appreciation. We had only one speaker, so this is for Toastmaster Siona Fernandez. We also have a certificate of appreciation to her evaluator from Anaphon Toastmasters, sorry, Margam Toastmasters Club. So Anaphon Toastmasters Club. We also have a certificate of appreciation to DTM Raymond Pereira, all the way from Kuwait. Thank you for joining us, Raymond. Indeed, this was something what was needed for us, and we will share this link with others. This meeting was recorded. This will be mailed to everyone who had joined in, so you can go back, view the meeting, and then try to improve. Once again, on behalf of the Zoom master, I would like to apologize to everyone. This is the spirit of Toastmasters, what keeps us going. Although everyone had dropped off, everyone quickly joined in and the meeting was resumed. Thank you, General Evaluator, for being so understanding. That's all from me. The meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.